Hello everyone, and welcome to something a bit different for today's Wildcard Wednesday. Firstly, I would just like to apologise for two things. One, if the lighting changes throughout the course of this video, because we are currently in the middle of having a bit of a storm here in the UK, and as such I don't know when the natural light is suddenly going to go or come back or whatever. So you might find that the lighting gets a bit lighter or darker over the course of this video, which secondly brings me on to, I will try and record around them, but I might catch the tail end or the start of some rolls of thunder, so I apologise if that does slightly obscure what I'm saying at times, but obviously I can't control the weather, sadly. But now on to the video. I am often asked what I think we might see in future in terms of figures. However, generally, I prefer just to wait and see rather than speculate. But I also often get asked what I would like to see, and that is the subject of today's video. With the release yesterday of more pictures of the forthcoming sets, including the History of the Daleks set, it did give me an idea of something that I, and I'm sure many others, would like to see. Recently I have been building up my collection of classic Davros figures, and those who know how rare these figures are will understand how costly this has actually been. But following on from the History of the Daleks set, it made me think about another good idea could be a History of Davros set, and so here are my ideas about what I think the sets could look like. Now I want to stress that these are not official products or representative of anything coming in future. These are simply my own ideas, and in keeping with CO's current line of just reusing or repainting figures with minimal parts, I have tried to keep these sets as simple as possible. First up we have the Genesis of the Daleks set, featuring of course Davros and the Proto-Dalek with its bronze gun. There's not really much to say about this set, as it is just Davros and a Dalek, but the bronze gun ones seem like a good option, as it's something which just stands out that little bit more. And the same goes for the next one, which is Destiny of the Daleks. I'm sure some people would suggest putting the bomb Dalek in this set, however the standard Destiny Daleks are actually the rarer variants. However, given that the story features several different variants of the Destiny Dalek, it's perfectly possible that CO could repaint the standard Destiny Dalek to give us a variant from the story that we haven't yet had released. Next we have the Resurrection set, and for this I originally put in the black and white Supreme in this set. However, should the History of the Daleks sets continue into each Dalek story, then the chances are that we might see the black and white Supreme released as part of that set, and so it seemed a better idea to put in the standard grey Dalek but with the orange lights previously seen in the 5th Doctor and Dalek Toys R Us exclusive twin pack. On to Revelation of the Daleks, and we have Davros of course, but this time with his bandaged hand as standard, and I decided to include a Necros Dalek, as whilst the grey Renegade is nice, I think more people would prefer the Necros version. Another possible idea I had was to utilise the transparent Dalek seen in the 3rd Doctor and Dalek Toys R Us set to create the glass Dalek that was seen in this story. However, this does present two quite large problems. Firstly, I believe I'm right in saying that clear plastic is a bit more expensive to produce. That is why things such as the holographic 9th Doctor or the Ghost Cybermen got prototyped but never actually made. And secondly, whilst a clear Dalek would look very cool, having removed some of the paint off the 3rd Doctor ones myself in the past, I have to say it does look very good. I know for a fact that some fans would turn around and go, well, they could have added some stuff inside to make it look more like it did on screen. And it just opens the floodgates to people criticising the figure because it's not exactly what they wanted. So a far better idea is to forget the glass Dalek and just stick with the plain Necros Dalek. In the final of the classics we have the Remembrance Davros, possibly the one that most people want, and with him I have included a special weapons Dalek. Now this was a bit of a difficult one, because if the History of the Dalek sets do continue, then when it comes to Remembrance I see two likely possibilities of releases. A grey Renegade and the black Supreme, or a set featuring two Imperial Daleks. Or, as a third possibility, it's possible that CO might group Revelation and Remembrance together and release a set with a Necros Dalek and an Imperial. However, the main factor I kept coming back to was that it was unlikely we would see the special weapons Dalek in a History of the Daleks set, and so it made sense to add that one into this History of Davros set. Now we move on to the new series, but just before we do, I would like to address something which I know at this point some people are going to say, well, they could do this as well. Davros from Big Finish's Time War 4. Simply put, this is extremely unlikely. Firstly, there is all the licensing and admin red tape that comes with making figures from Big Finish stories. Yes, we've had figures based on their stories before, but when CO made those ones and had the contracts drawn up or however all the admin works, the likelihood and the chances are they were unaware of Time War 4 and Davros's inclusion in that. As such, any contract they have with Big Finish to make figures is very unlikely to include Davros, and so it would take a lot of work just to secure the rights to make that figure. And secondly, from a production perspective, and having done a custom one myself, I can tell you for a fact Davros's classic head is not made to be compatible with a new series Davros body, meaning that CEO would have to create an entirely new sculpt of the Malloy Davros head to incorporate its fitting into the new series body, and also to fit the new series head brace. And when you couple that with the first point, it means that this is just very unlikely to happen. So moving on to the new series, we have a straight up re-release of Davros from the new series, along with a later, slimmer sculpt of the new series Dalek. Again, I considered putting the new series Stolen Earth Supreme in this set. However, should the History of the Daleks set extend into the new series, then I think it's very likely that we will see the Stolen Earth Supreme released alongside a standard bronze Dalek. And lastly, we have the Series 9 opening Davros, which again is just a re-release of the new series Davros, but with a slightly darker, more sickly complexion to his face to reflect how he is in the story. But with the Dalek is a classic Dead Planet Dalek with a new blue midsection and eye, but with a black dome. And for those wondering, this Dalek did appear, albeit very briefly, in the final scene with Missy surrounded by the Daleks. And whilst it's not something we've seen outside of this one scene, it is too nice of a variant to ignore, and it would add something a little bit different to this set. And that is all of my ideas and the end of this video. If you did like any of the ideas, please let me know in the comments below which was your favourite, or if you have any ideas yourself, preferably within the realms of possibility, be sure to let me know in the comments below as well. But that brings to a close another video. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. Be sure to go to the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.